Yes, please speak.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, members and speakers. Thank you for joining in today for BBF's interactive webinar along with NSDL on implementation in the respect of block mechanism and pay-in validation changes in the NSDL system. We are thankful to Team NSDL, Mr. Prashant Wagal, Mr. EVP NSDL, Mr. Parag Joshi, VP NSDL, Mr. Yogesh Parve, AVP NSDL, for providing their valuable time today. We shall begin with a brief PPT and followed by our interactive Q&A session. On that note, I would request Mr. Prashant Wagal to present the opening remarks, please. Thank you. Over to you, Prashant.
Thank you, Vispi. Good evening, everyone. And we take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to BBF for giving us an opportunity. In fact, we are 1 week ahead from the deadline, 1 week before the deadline prescribed by SEBI towards the implementation of the mandatory block mechanism. In fact, this is the first time we have seen that there are the two deadlines, one for the getting the early pay-in benefit and one for not getting the early pay-in benefit. And so basically what we are looking for as a part of the journey, that what are the system changes which are going to happen, how it is being implemented. And more important part here is that this is the efforts whereby the SEBI is looking for any debit from the client account to be matched with the obligation being received. As I am sure many of you must be aware that currently when any off markets are executed, there is a need to mandatory mention the reasons. If it is a sale transaction, then there is a consideration, then there is a stamp duty. So there is a lot of guidelines in terms of execution of the off market. Now the similar side of the controls in terms of checking with the obligation, incorporating the UCC details as a part of the instruction, and reducing the work at the broker in terms of getting the early pay-in benefit. So actually it is a win-win whereby the customer client shares will not get debited without any obligation. Brokers will not be required to give us separate details of UCCs of the client for getting the early benefit, and clearing corporation will have a comfort that I will get only those shares against which there is an obligation. So that type of benefit everybody is enjoying as a part of the journey. And so today's presentation is scheduled to give us an idea about how all this implemented in a depository system, what are the validations are being incorporated, and what are the various changes which are required to be incorporated in the physical delivery instruction slip or the digital initiatives like Speedy, Spice, or in the depository system which our depository participants are executing for executing of the transaction. And so without taking much of the time, I request Yogesh Parve and a team to go through the presentation part. And once again, the thanks to ISP and the BBA for giving us this opportunity. Yogesh, over to you.
Thank you, Prashant sir, and good evening, everyone. And once again, we, on behalf of NSDL, we like to thank BBF for making this forum available to us to express our system changes to our participants, and it is the good platform to showcase the necessary changes which we have carried out in the system, which will be made live effective from 11th November. So as the Prashant sir given the brief that there is a SEBI issued the guidelines in respect of the mandatory block mechanism and pay-in validation. So there are two separate circulars, and wherein for first circular mandatory block mechanism, the effective date that has been prescribed by SEBI is 14th November, and for pay-in validation, the SEBI prescribed deadline is 25th November. But as you are aware that SEBI has issued the block mechanism related circular in August 2021, wherein we have implemented that feature as an optional basis, and many of the depository participants and brokers are already making use of it. So people are now having the idea about what are the changes that has been already incorporated in the system. But going forward, we have made little changes in the file formats so that we will get a more clarity about the client UCC detail, which will be used for providing the EPI benefits to the clients through clearing corporation, and which will be used for matching with the obligation purpose as well. So we will just run through this slides, and we'll try to cover certain important factors of the SEBI guidelines circulars. So as we already discussed, SEBI issued two circulars related to block mechanism. One was dated July 16, when they have issued the guideline in respect of the block mechanism as an optional functionality. But now they have come up with the circular dated August 18, 2022, wherein they have said that this changes in respect of the mandatory block mechanism will be mandated in the depositor system effective from 14 November. So what are the expected changes which are required, and what are the existing guidelines prescribed by SEBI? We have tried to cover in this particular slide. For every sell transaction, share will be blocked in the client account in favor of a clearing corporation. So whether it is a early paying transaction or without early paying transaction, so both the transactions will be executed through block mechanism. So simply speaking, in respect of any payments related transaction, client to clearing member kind of a transaction will be routed through block mechanism. And after the block has been executed in the system, the securities will be blocked in the client account till the paying date in favor of a clearing corporation. So if the sale transaction is not executed, but obviously we will not get that validation from the clearing obligation from the clearing corporation. So that is the first thing. And the unblocking of those securities will be done on the T-day itself. So we shall not be waiting till the paying date. On the T-day itself, when the obligation will be uploaded by the clearing corporation, that time we will be giving back those securities in the client free balance. So as Prashant sir already said that every transaction will be routed through the block mechanism, wherein we will be providing the necessary UCC details to the clearing corporation for providing the EPI benefit to the members and client, and brokers are not required to execute any separate IDO instructions in the depository system, as well as they are not required to upload any separate details to the clearing corporation for getting the early payment benefit. And as I already mentioned that this, as per the SEBI circular, the effective date of this mandatory block mechanism is 14 November. So I would like to highlight one part over here, that considering the all NHL releases are being implemented on the Friday EOD, so we will be making the changes in the NHL depository system at the EOD of November 11, 2022, that is Friday. Then these are some basic functionalities related to block mechanism. We already discussed about this changes will be applicable for all market transfers like client to CM, wherein the securities will be blocked in the client account, and this will be related to all the paying related instructions with EPI or without EPI, and the securities will be blocked in the client account till paying date, and every paying related transfer which has been executed through block mechanism will be validated with the obligation detail, client level net obligation detail, which will be provided by the clearing corporation. If the transaction has been executed with the early paying flag, then this detail will be shared with the clearing corporation, and clearing corporation will provide a client level early paying benefit to each client. We discussed this point wherein brokers are not required to process the separate IDO instruction in the depository system, because NSDL on behalf of the broker will be doing that activity, so that the securities will be delivered in the CC settlement account on the paying date through CM pool account. So currently, as we discussed, till 10th of November, this functionality will be optional in nature, but effective from 12th November, this functionality will be made in the mandatory in the depository system. So whatever the points we discussed, so this flowchart basically depict the status transition and how the securities will be flowing from the client account till the CC settlement account on pay-in date. So the securities are blocked in the client account when we execute the account transfer or IDT related instruction. And then the UCC TMID exchange ID will be shared to the clearing corporation along with the other basic fields like quantity, ISIN for the getting the client level early pay-in benefit. Then clearing corporation will upload the obligation file on the T day at 7:30 or 8 p.m. and that will be matched with the account transfer and IDT instruction. On successful matching, securities will remain in the client account, client block account, and that shares will be transferred from CM pool account to the CC settlement account on the pay-in date. So on the BOD of the pay-in date, basically, what will happen? The securities will get debited from the client account and the shares will get credited in the CM pool, and from CM pool, the shares will be delivered to the CC settlement account for pay-in purpose. In case of unmatched transaction, so as we already discussed, on a T day itself, the securities will be given back to the client account as a free balance. So as we discussed that, this block mechanism is up and running effective from the August 2021, wherein this functionality has been provided to the DPs and broker as a optional facility. But and at that time, actually, NSDL has taken the approach wherein we were deriving the UCC details from the UCC master available, which has been provided by the stock exchange. But to give the more clarity and to have a foolproof system, we have decided that we will be taking this additional details from the DPs, clients, and broker at the time of execution of account transfer and IDT instruction. So now, what additional detail basically we are expecting? So we are expecting 3 additional details from you in the file format of account transfer and IDT. That is client UCC, the trading member ID, and the stock exchange ID. So client UCC will be provided on the screen as well as on the file format, the trading member ID and the stock exchange ID. So trading member ID is basically the trading members details wherein the actual trade has been executed, and the stock exchange also similar lines, the exchange ID wherein the trade has been executed. Segment ID is an optional field, so it is not a mandatory field to be provided. And there is existing flag which is available, that is called block with EPI flag, that has been renamed as a block indicator flag, and we are expecting 2 values in that particular flag. One value is for block with early pay. So this is very important. If the broker or the depository participant or client wish to enjoy the early pay benefit, then every instruction has to be executed using the one flag, that is block with early pay. Then the second number flag is basically block with no early pay-in flag. So there are some scenarios wherein early pay-in benefit is not required and brokers are executing the instruction through normal settlement route without early pay-in flag. So they can continue using the flag as a tool. So I will just try to add certain points over here. There is a SEBI guidelines which speak about mandatory block mechanism. So in that particular circular, SEBI is trying to say that for early pay instructions, the block mechanism is mandatory effective from 14 November. So every instruction will be processed which has been marked for early pay will be mandatory through block mechanism. There will be no other route which will be available for depository participant to execute early pay transaction. Every transaction has to be routed through block mechanism with the channel indicator as a 1. Then there is a second circular, we speak about a pay validation for which the effective date is the 25th November and which we have classified with the flag as a 2, which will be used by the depository participant for executing the block instruction wherein they does not require the early pay benefit. So this particular flag, this particular changes also will be implemented in the depository system effective from EOD of 11th November. So that is the 2 important points which I wanted to highlight over here. What is the difference between mandatory block mechanism circular and what is the difference between early pay pay validation circular issued by SEBI. So there is one additional flag which has been marked as a zero or space, which will be used for only exempted transactions like custodians are being exempted from the block mechanism and pay validation. There are transactions like tender offer, which has been handled through different mechanism based on the market type details. So those type of a transaction can be processed without giving any flag detail. The value can be provided as a zero or space. So this is the flag details which we are expecting from the broker and depository participant going forward. Next slide. We have tried to make the necessary changes in the pool to pool and inter-settlement transactions also, wherein we have given the necessary changes in the file format structure, wherein we have sought the details like client PAN, client UCC, TMID and exchange ID details from pool to pool and inter-settlement module also. So that SEBI is in a discussion with all the MIs so that they can take a decision regarding the restrictions on the pool to pool and inter-settlement transaction. But this particular thing is still in a discussion with the SEBI and MI. So we have made the necessary provision in the file format to get the additional detail like client PAN, client UCC, trading member ID, stock exchange ID, so that whenever this type of transaction or SEBI will issue any guideline in respect of pool to pool inter-settlement restriction, and what will be the transaction that will be allowed under pool to pool and inter-settlement. For carrying out such allowed transfer, we will be using this additional detail like client PAN, UCC, TMID, exchange ID for verification of those transactions along with the obligation detail forwarded by the clearing corporation. But effective from 14 November, we are not going to validate this kind of a pool to pool inter-settlement transaction, which are currently being used by the depository participant and broker. But one of the important point I wanted to highlight that all the pay related instruction, API or without API, will be routed through block mechanism, wherein securities will be blocked in the client account and securities will be directly delivered to the CC settlement account on paying date. So all pay related transfer has to be directly given to the CC settlement account through block mechanism. Those shares will not be given in the pool to pool account, and from pool account, no early pay instruction to be executed. I will repeat myself, no early paying of share has to be done through pool mechanism effective from 14 November. Because as per circular, SEBI circular, it is not allowed to execute any early pay instruction from CM pool account effective from 14 November. So please, participant brokers are requested to take note of the same. So we discuss, this block mechanism and pay mechanism. So what are the important factors? We will try to, just go through the process, how the process will be done effective from the 14 November. So there are, various modes through today brokers, clients and depository participants execute the pay related transfer, whether it is a early pay transaction or non-API instruction. There are various routes like, physical DI slip or electronic mode of providing the instruction, that is speedy, SPICE. So there are EDI, DDPI. So there are various other modes which has been used by the brokers, DPs and clients for execute pay related transfers. So for all these modes, now the block mechanism will be mandatory for processing the pay related instruction. The facility for block mechanism for EPI and non-EPI transaction will be mandatory, and early paying through CM pool shall not continue. So this point which we already discussed, this is very important point to note. NSDL will provide the UCC detail or transfer instruction, that is UCC TMID exchange ID as received from the client, brokers or DP as a part of an instruction to CC. We discussed that in respect of the early pay transaction, whenever the instruction has been executed at a 10-minute gap, we are sharing the EPI details to the clearing corporation. In that EPI detail, we will be providing the UCC TMID exchange ID details to the clearing corporation, which we have received as a part of an instruction through client, broker and a DP, so that the CC can provide a client level API benefit. Then CC will match the client level net obligation with EPI details shared by the NSDL, and CC will allot the early paying benefit to the client. So this is a normal process for processing the early paying transaction basically. Next slide. And the difference between early paying and non-early paying transaction is that the total block mechanism will work as it is. The only difference is that for getting the early paying benefit, we will be forwarding the EPI details to the clearing corporation. And for non-early paying transaction, we will be blocking the securities client account and we will be delivering those shares for settlement purpose on a BOD of a settlement date. So that is the only difference between the early paying and non-early paying transaction under block mechanism. So now this slide basically speaks about the matching with the block mechanism transaction on the basis of obligation uploaded by the clearing corporation on NSDL portal. So on a daily basis today, clearing corporations are uploading the obligation detail on an NSDL portal around 7:30 to 8 p.m. and we are using that obligation for matching with the instruction process through block mechanism. So we will be continuing with that process because SEBI circular says that before actual debit from the client account for paying instruction, the matching obligation matching has to be mandatorily carried out. So based on the obligation data provided by the clearing corporation, NSDL will validate the depository transfer instruction, that is account transfer and IDT with the CC obligation detail. NSDL will validate the UCC detail of intra and inter-depository transfer instruction with the UCC detail available in the UCC master. So this point basically speaks about at the time of a submission of a account transfer or IDT instruction, the DP client or broker will be providing us the UCC TMID exchange ID detail in the instruction as a part of an instruction, and that detail NSDL will be validated with the UCC master maintained at NSDL based on the details provided by the stock exchange. So once that UCC is validated, then only the instruction will be processed for the block mechanism or for paying purpose. Otherwise, in case of a mismatch in the UCC detail, that instruction will not be considered for the paying purpose. In case of IDT instruction, securities will be blocked in the client account till receipt of a client level net obligation from CC. In case of a match IDT order, securities will be debited from client account and credited in the CM account of the BOD of the paying. So there is not much difference in the in respect of the intra-depository or inter-depository transaction through block mechanism. Only the difference is that in respect of the inter-depository, that is the IDT transfer, the source depository will be do the obligation matching with the clearing corporation. At this point, we discuss in case of discrepancies in details like UCC TMID exchange ID detail, which has been provided as a part of instruction and which is not matching with the UCC database, that instruction will be rejected. Similarly, if the instruction detail is not matching with the obligation detail, so those such kind of a transfer will be rejected by the depository. So today, we are doing the quantity apple to apple matching with the obligation. But going forward, we will do the partial matching as well. I will take example wherein the instruction is processed for 100 XYZ shares and the obligation is uploaded for 100 shares, then it is a proper match and we will be processing 100 shares for paying purpose. If the instruction is processed for 80 quantity and the obligation is provided for the 100 quantity, then today we are processing the 80 quantity for the paying purpose. But if the instruction quantity is 120 and if the obligation is received is of 100, then in that case, effective from 12th of November, we will be processing the instruction for 100 quantity because the obligation is received for 100 quantity. It has been clarified in the SEBI circular that the account transfer instruction for paying purpose has to be successfully processed based on the obligation uploaded by the clearing corporation to the extent of the quantity mentioned in the obligation. So this is one of the important points which I just wanted to highlight, so that every member, every participant will get idea about this particular partial processing process. So these are the some of the important benefits of the block mechanism, which we are again and again touching upon stating that the securities are blocked in the client account till paying date, so that there will be no risk of misuse of client securities. So this block mechanism process will totally eliminate the risk of misuse of a client security. Block is created on the basis of client UCC, and brokers are not required to give the separate API details to CC, because NSDL at a gap of every 10 minutes will be sharing this API detail to the clearing corporation. So on one process, broker will send the operational effort as well as time. Also, they will save on time, because this separate upload by brokers to the clearing corporation is not required. The corporate action benefit will be given to the client, because till the paying date, the client securities are blocked in the client account. So there will be no issues in respect of the handling of a corporate action benefit, which currently being getting affected in the CM pool account. No need for brokers to reconcile corporate benefits in case wherein the security is held in the CM pool account on the record date, because till the paying date, securities will be blocked in the client account. So whatever the corporate action benefit will be provided, so the direct benefit will be provided in the client account, and brokers are not required to have the separate reconciliation mechanism for handling the corporate action benefit. Securities are debited only upon successful validation with the sale obligation, that is client level net sale obligation received from CC. So this is also one of the additional benefit. Securities will be actually debited from the client account upon successful obligation matching. Otherwise, the securities will be not debited from client account, and the security will be given again in the free balance of the client account. EPI instruction for block to be submitted throughout the day instead of a specified time. So that is the additional beauty of the system. If you want to get the EPI benefit, you can execute the instruction throughout a day. There is no need to wait for the specified time, because as we said, at every 10-minute interval, we will be sending the EPI badge details to the clearing corporation, so that you will get the EPI benefit from the clearing corporation throughout the day without any specified time limit. Reduction of activities at the DPs and brokers, as there is no need of execution of a special IDO, upload of a UCC wise client details on a CC's collateral management system. So brokers and DP will save on time as well as on the operational convenience also. These are some important points to be noted by the depository participants and members. We have touch upon this point. I will try to once again go through all the important points. So client will have the different modes of instruction execution. This point which we have already discussed: physical DIS, electronic DIS, DDPI, POA, SPICE, PD. So through every mode, the pain related instruction will be processed through block mechanism, and blocking will be done in the client account. Obligation will be matched, and obligation match, the securities will be debited from the client account and will be given to the client CC settlement on the BOD of the paying date. Partial paying to continue for available balances if sufficient balance is not available, subject to matching with the client level net obligation. So this point we discussed. Today, we will be matching the instruction quantity with the obligation quantity, and to the extent of the obligation quantity, we will try to settle the instruction quantity in partial term as well. For availing the early payment benefit, insured securities are available to the extent of instruction sufficient. Otherwise, the broker will not get the early payment benefit in case of an overdue transaction. So whatever the obligation is there, please try to maintain that balance in the client account so that you will get the early payment benefit. Matching of a CC obligation with a client block securities at EOD of a T day, because on a T day itself, clearing corporations upload the obligation. Matching is done on the T day itself. In case of unmatched transactions, securities are given back in the client free balance on a T day itself. Future dated orders, block mechanism, account transfer, and IDT instruction will be matched against obligation on an execution date. You can execute the future dated order, but the matching will happen based on the execution date of that particular instruction. we have discussed important points in respect of the mandatory block mechanism and pay invalidation as well. So we have discussed about the two separate guidelines issued by SEBI. What are the differences between the mandatory block mechanism and the pay invalidation? For mandatory block mechanism, SEBI is intending to bring more and more control in respect of early pay transaction, and for pay invalidation, every pay transaction has to be routed through block mechanism, whether those are pertaining to non-early pay transaction as well. So, coming back to the pay invalidation circular issued by SEBI on September 19, 2022, they are saying that regarding the validation of instruction for paying of securities from client account to TMCM pool account towards the obligation received from the clearing corporation. So only the difference between is that this instruction will be processed as a flag as a 2, wherein block with no API instruction will be submitted, and details of this transaction will not be forwarded to the clearing corporation for getting the API benefit, but the securities will be blocked in the client account and obligation will be matched with the instruction, and on the paying date, the securities will be directly debited from the client account. And by giving the hopping entry in the CM pool account, securities will be delivered in the CC settlement account for paying purpose. So this is the only difference between the mandatory block mechanism and pay invalidation circular. The system, the mechanism will totally remain same. The only difference is that for pay invalidation, we will execute the instruction with a value as a flag value as a 2, wherein early paying benefit will not be provided. And as we already discussed, both the circular, whether it is a mandatory block mechanism or pay invalidation, we are planning to execute or implement the changes effective from 12th of November. So at EOD of 11th of November, both the releases will be made available in the NSDL depository system. So thank you very much from my side. Basically, these are some of the important points which we thought that we will, try to cover up as a part of a PPT. And then we will be having an open discussion for the getting the questions and queries from the other participants. We will try to, answer and clarify the queries raised by the participants. Hopeful on that.
Thank you, Yogesh, for giving this descriptive presentation and highlighting the important key points. It was indeed very important. Now, as always, we request the participants to kindly raise their virtual hands so you can start asking questions. Yogesh, the first one is client has to mention client code allotted by broker on his delivery instruction slip.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So as we already discussed, for processing the pay related instruction, now 3 additional details will be required by NSDL. That is client UCC, TMID and exchange ID. So these 3 details will be mandatory for processing account transfer and IDT instruction for paying purpose.
In BSC, word error and NSC client code is used for error trades. So what should be mentioned on the delivery instruction slip in clearing corporation if NCL?
Can you please come again? I'm not able to get this question.
It mentioned in BSC word error and NSC client code is used for error trades. So what should be mentioned on delivery instruction slip in clearing corporation NCL?
See, frankly speaking, whenever where the actual trade has got executed, so that particular UCC detail, exchange ID and TMID detail has to be mentioned, because in the obligation which we will be receiving, so that obligation details we will be matching with the instruction detail. So it is necessary that the details mentioned in the instruction and details which has been executed in the trade, so which will be received from the obligation from clearing corporation, that will match. Upon successful matching only the instruction will get processed, otherwise it will get failed. So just keep in mind that whatever the trade has been successfully executed on the exchange platform, so that detail has been mentioned in the transaction, and that detail will be provided by the clearing corporation to NSDL, and that will be matched with the transaction detail.
Okay. Shares given under block mechanism by client will be shown in steady.
Sorry?
Shares given under block mechanism by client will be shown in steady. Steady.
No, the Steady is not the platform. NSDL e-services does provide that function, wherein the EDS block export functionality is provided on NSDL e-services under IDEAS. So people can make use of it through NSDL e-services portal.
Okay. If client wants to do normal pay-in, then it will come to broker pool account or broker mechanism.
So normal pain, I'm not able to understand the meaning of normal pain, but I will try to again, reiterate the point that effective from 12th of November, every pain related instruction has to be routed through block mechanism. In that case, the securities will be blocked in the client account till paying date, and securities will be directly given to the CC settlement account on the BOD of a paying date. So there will be no actual control of the securities will be given in the CM pool account.
Okay. Nishanji, your question, please. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Nishanji. Pareshi, your question, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have three questions. One is with regards to if sold, if the selling happens part on both the exchanges, then will the client be required to give two different instructions for both of them or a single? Because under interoperability scenario, it has to get processed under single only.
See, under interoperable thing, I agree with fact that it will get settled through single clearing corporation, but the trading is happened on the both separate exchanges. Then accordingly, two separate instruction has to be executed because UCC TMID exchange ID combination will be different for the two different instructions.
So preferably it should have been at a CC ID rather than the exchange ID.
No.
Because
so there are two scenarios. See, basically clearing happens on through the clearing member and clearing corporation. So that detail we will be getting in the obligation detail. But in the obligation detail, we get a separate UCC detail, TMID and exchange ID details as well. So obligation matching is happen on the primary key of client PAN, client UCC, TMID, exchange ID, CMID, market type, settlement number, ISIN, and quantity. So this field is basically used for the matching with the obligation.
Okay. Second question is with regards to pro trade or own account trade executed by brokers. Currently, they are not available in block mechanism. So for processing that particular transactions, how the broker will have to process
So while executing a trade, which UCC broker use?
It's either own OWN at BSE or self at NSE.
So generally, in the DIS format, basically you can mention the TMID as a part of your UCC, because in our UCC database, exchanges has provided the detail as a part of UCC master, UCC as your TMID. So that we will be validating, and hopefully in the clearing corporation also will provide us the obligation mentioning your TMID as a part of a UCC detail.
Okay. So third part is with regards to, will there be a change in DIS format for market transactions?
Yes, there will be changes in the DIS format in respect of addition of these 3-4 fields, but that will be communicated later. Till that time, you can take an additional annexure along with the DIS, considering this fields like client UCC and other details.
Thank you, Yogesh. Yogesh, just couple of suggestions with regards to the first part. If that can be validated at a CC level, it will be helpful, because then the actual impact of interoperability will make sense. Else currently the way in which we are planning to go forward is not in line or sync with the actual interoperability concept of the scenario.
No, Paresh, but this is not only at the part of a NSDL, because as I already said, the execution of instruction happens on the basis of the NSDL system, wherein the UCC is getting validated, which we have been received from the exchange. That is the first part. So there is a dependency how the UCC details are being provided to us. That is the first part. Second part is that how the obligation is reported to the NSDL by the clearing corporation. If the obligation is provided separately by the clearing corporation, but obviously the instruction has to be provided, executed separately, then only the obligation matching will be done correctly. Otherwise, such kind of an instruction will fail in the real scenario. Pareji, we can discuss this offline. We will have a call separately with you. No problem.
Yeah, and
as a part of a suggestion.
Bharaji, your question, please. Bharaji. Spandan, your question, please. Spandanji, your question, please.
Hello, sir.
हाँ जी.
Actually, sir, हमारे यहाँ पे नॉन POA क्लाइंट्स हैं, उनके EDIS इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए NSDL पे MPIN और OTP लगता है सर. तो वही हमारे POA क्लाइंट्स के लिए भी एप्लीकेबल OTP एंड MPIN लगेगा?
नहीं सर, there will be no change in the process which we follow for EDIS. EDIS के केस में जैसे आपने बताया कि EDIS के केस में OTP verification is required, but in case of a POA based transaction, those instructions are being uploaded on the DPM format, DPM system, and there is client and POA mapping is getting validated. So there will be no changes which we have been carried out in respect of OTP authentication.
Okay, sir. Sir, another question is, hello.
Sir.
Whether we will receive any success file from CC, sir, that our EPI benefit has been given or not?
Sir, can you just check this point with the clearing corporation separately?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Sayajji, your question, please.
Hi, Yogesh. I'm Sajesh here. Okay. This is with reference to the
Sayajji, your voice is cracking. Ashishji, your question, please. Ashishji.
Yogesh, suppose in case of buyback transactions, the flag that has to be passed is 0. What if the flag is passed as 1 and 2? What will be the impact?
No, but when we are saying that for tender offer, the instruction has to be provided with the 0 or space flag. Otherwise, it will have the conflict of a format level rejection.
Okay. So there will be a check at NSDL end, correct?
Yes, sure.
And for POA, we can pass, basically the segment ID itself is optional. It is not mandatory.
Yes, it is not. It is not mandatory.
So for MF,
you can just ignore that field.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, hello, sir. This is Nishant from Axis Bank Custody. See, hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yes. See, actually, yesterday, CDSL has issued one file format with respect to block mechanism in demat account for this cell transaction, wherein UCC is mandatory and there are some 3-4 additional transaction status are included in that particular EPI file. So in the same line, any file format issued by NSDL wherein these fields are incorporated?
Yes, sir. We have issued the file format dated 23rd July 2022, wherein we have given the list of file formats changes, wherein additional detail has been incorporated in the NSDL file format.
Circular number for particular listing format?
Sir, I can give you the date right now, 23rd July. I'm not very much sure about the circular number.
Basically, this particular thing, it's not like mandatory for custodian, right?
For custodian, the guidelines is exemption. The SEBI has given the separate exemption for custodians.
Okay, correct. But this thing we need to incorporate in this file, this UCC and other thing we need to.
So you are from custodian? You are from custodian? Or
Yeah, custodian, yes.
So for custodian, the pay invalidations and the block mechanism is exempted. They are not required to make any changes in the file format as such. These changes will be exempted for the all custodian clients wherein the custodian flag is being enabled in the depository system.
Okay, so all the existing file format will get continued, right?
Yes.
Yeah, along with the SPICE, PD, everything will be as
Sir,
per
no,
the.
no changes for custodian at all.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mr. Suresh Sharma, your question, please. Mr. Suresh Sharma. Mr. Amit, your question, please. Hello. Mr. Amit, can you hear me? You can ask your question, please. Mr. Praveen, you may ask your question, please. Am I audible? Hello?
I'm audible?
Yeah, Praveen.
Yeah, so my question is that presently on the DIS, there is no provision of putting this new fields. So client can put the fields wherever the space is available, like UCC ID and other detail, which is mandatory for the submitting the DIS to the DP.
Yeah, Praveen, we discussed this point wherein we said that you can take a separate annexure along with the DIS mentioning this additional fields.
Okay, so annexure will be provided by you, or we can take it? That's
no, you can take it. You can take it. We will be issuing a separate circular wherein we will be, informing with the necessary changes in the DIS format.
Okay, so my next question is that the way you have been told that partial settlement is going to happen if the client has submitted the instruction for the 100 shares and obligation is 100, that apple to apple going to match it, but the stock is available 80. Stock is available 80, then that also going to be a settle. However, but on the T date, if client submitting the instruction of the 100, obligation is 100, but available balance is 80. So 80 shares you are going to report to exchange on the T day, or it will be reported later?
No, only the thing is that for overdue transaction, we will not be sharing the EPI details to the clearing corporation.
Yeah, so in that case, what will happen, Yogesh? We also given the suggestion earlier that client is not going to get the benefit of the available balance in a EP, and penalty will be levied to the customer because of the he is not making the paying on the T day.
Praveenji, the thing is that the SEBI has given us the guideline wherein they have told us to allow the instruction in respect of the extent of the obligation. So if the balance is available in the system of that particular client, so to that balance, we can share that details to the early paying CC for getting the EPI. If the balance is not available in the client account, then such transaction has been classified as an overdue transaction, and overdue transaction currently we are not sharing with the clearing corporation for early payment benefit.
I do agree on this part, but what the broker exactly facing the trouble is that they have to match the DP balances of their customer and take the DP holding every time from their depository multiple times, and that is not feasible. So if you can look at some solution, that will really going to help to the broker.
Yeah, Praveenji, the thing is that as an NSDL, we are totally tied up with all these regulatory changes. As you will appreciate the fact that currently we will be having 3 different releases at a gap of 1 week time. Okay, 11th of October, then 18th of October, then 24th of October. And we have made the necessary changes to handle the partial obligation. Vishnu, can you please mute other participants? Thank you very much. It's better
Yeah.
now.
So
we have.
Yogesh understood your constraint. No
No,
problem.
so what I'm telling you that, so this time we have tried to, handle the partial thing, wherein the partial quantity is available and the obligation is of less quantity. So we are, giving the EPI benefit for that at least quantity. So in the next phase, we can definitely think of this overdue as well. I'm not, denying the fact that we shall not be considering that changes, but not in this phase, but at least in the next phase, we will try to cover this.
Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, Praveen sir.
Mr. Amit, your question, please. Mr. Amit Sharma. Integrated, your question, please. Mr. Hasmukh, your question, please.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the question is that some clients are doing the paying transfer for another DP, and they give the shares transfer in our pool account for the next. If the client would sell on today and they transfer the shares on tomorrow, so then how to settle the pain?
No, I'm not able to get your query.
Sorry.
I'm not able to understand your question, sir.
So the client give the pin instruction in our pool account to another DP, in our pool account. So
today, currently we discuss about the account transfer instruction wherein transfer is happening from client account to clearing member account.
Okay.
So this your example is pertaining to client to CM instruction.
Okay. Fine. Okay, sir.
Mr. Praveen, you may ask your question. Mr. Praveen. Mr. Parveen Agarwal, you may ask your question.
So I'll just take few queries which has been posted on chat. So what about paying through KUSA account pool-to-pool transfer? So currently, actually, we are in all the MIs are in discussion with the SEBI. So wherein the KUSA related proposal is being discussed in SEBI office. So from KUSA account, you can take the shares to the pool account, and from there you can execute the pay related transfer without mentioning any additional detail. But only the thing is that from pool account, you cannot execute a normal EPI instruction for client share. From KUSA, you can route it to the pool account, and from there you can do the paying as per your existing mechanism. So that is the first question. Then second is that if client is not having demat account with TM, how the shares will be blocked? This question I am not able to understand, but the securities will be debited from client account and it will be credited to any of the CM pool account for paying purpose. In that case, the client will be blocked in the client account, and when the obligation will be provided, that will be matched with the obligation. If the successful matching is done, the securities will be delivered in the paying purpose. Then there is the next question related to changes needs to be done in the DI slip, which we already covered. How to handle inter-settlement transaction for block mechanism and obligation check. So currently, we have made the necessary provision in the file format to get the UCC details. So UCC details can be provided in case of an inter-settlement if DP is ready. Otherwise, the DP can make use of inter-settlement transaction for making their existing pay-related transfer. But SEBI is deliberating on this particular topic of restrictions on a pool-to-pool and inter-settlement transfer. So within a short of time, we can expect guidelines from SEBI wherein the pool-to-pool and inter-settlement will get restricted. So next question is related to UCC mapping in the demat account. So I will just try to cover this question. So as of now, we have crores of record mapped in the NSDL repository system regarding to UCC on a daily basis. We are receiving the exchange UCC details from exchanges, and we are mapping those details in the demat account. Earlier, there was an issue in respect of the duplicate UCC part, wherein as per the SEBI guidelines, the unique UCC has to be maintained the demat account. So we have made the necessary changes in our system to validate the unique UCC, but now the UCC detail will be provided as a part of an instruction. So we will not be deriving the UCC detail from the master, but whatever the detail has been provided as a part of an instruction, that will be validated with the UCC master available in an NSDL record, which is being provided by the stock exchange. So hopefully this issue in respect of UCC mismatch will not happen. API instruction format with a mandatory UCC will issued by NSDL. Yes, we have issued the necessary file formats. In case of PUSA to CM pool, we have already covered. For pool-to-pool inter-settlement, I already spoke about the necessary discussion happening in the SEBI office. In case of PUSA to pool, we have already covered. Is there any changes in the NSDL system for block mechanism? API client will be covered under custodial client. So those will be exempted for NRI. The process will remain same as per the normal client, wherein the NRI UCC will be provided as a part of instruction, and that will be matched with the obligation. Buyback, we discussed that tender offer will be a separate segment which will be covered for today. Also, we are blocking the shares, and which we will be validating with the bid acceptance detail. Mutual fund is this transaction which will be not covered under the block mechanism because the obligation will not be shared by the clearing corporation, because today also clearing corporations are executing the RFP instruction in the NSDL system, which is a trade confirmation from clearing corporation. So there is one important query raised by one of the participants stating that UCC is not provided by the exchange to NSDL. So mainly this question has to be asked to the exchanges. That is the first part, but there is another option which is available on the IS list of NSDL. You can upload those UCC details. We will send those UCC details to the exchanges for getting the confirmation. Upon receipt of a confirmation from the exchange, we will map those UCC in a NSDL demat account.
Yogesh ji.
Yes.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, Amish Gandhi here. You already mentioned that this particular part of pool-to-pool instructions has been, under discussion with the SEBI. So I just wanted to throw some light on that. We have a query on the said part where there is an SLPM segment in which if a borrower has to repay, and if the repay lag has to be completed, then it is pool-to-pool transfer. So is it also going to be under discussion, or for that the functionality is already been?
No, that is also going under discussion, and SEBI will be issuing one discussion paper to the MI as well, and on the basis of that, SEBI will issue
Excuse me.
So SEBI will be issuing a necessary guidelines wherein they will specify what kind of a transfers from pool to pool and inter-settlement will be allowed. So necessary changes we will implement in the repository system.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Amrish, your question, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Hi, Yogesh sir. Amrish here from Standard Bank Deposit operation. So what are the reports available for the CM on the TD, because we have not opted for the block mechanism? So what is the report? Since stock will not move to pool account on the TD, so what are the reports we can provide to brokers so that they can track it?
You said that you are not opted for block mechanism.
Correct. Correct. Till now it is optional. So as an optional.
No. From 14 November it will not be optional. From 12th
Exactly.
of November it will be. Just a moment, sir. Just a moment, sir. Let me finish, then you can raise your query again. So, effective from 12th of November, every pain related instruction has to be mandatorily executed through block mechanism. Yeah, please, now you can, raise your query.
Yeah, so since it will be blocked in the client's account only, and it will not move to client CM pool account. Stock will not move to CM pool account. So
Yes,
to
right.
track the a brokers and to track the pain status or early pain status, any
Yes,
reports
right.
you will be providing separately.
So there are two existing reports which are available. One is available on the EDPM system. The report name is EDS Block Export, and that similar kind of a report is being made available on the NSDL e-services portal under IDS.
Okay. And second question regarding the treatment will be same for intra DP and inter DP till the T+2.
Yes. The block mechanism will be applicable for account transfer within NSDL as well as inter-depository transfer within NSDL and CDSL as well.
And overdue transaction also will be treated same for inter-depository as well as intra-depository.
Which transfers?
Overdue transactions, overdue.
Yes. So there will be no change in the overdue process.
Okay. And not specifically related to block mechanism, but the DDPI, I just want to know whether DDPI is applicable for the custodial accounts also.
There is no clear mention about that, whether this is applicable or exempted for custodians.
A question from 11111812. Question from Trusted Share, please.
Hello. Yeah, I'm calling from Trusted Shares. My question is, currently my clients are transferring their shares through Speedy login to us as a clearing member. So after this block mechanism, what will be the scenario?
The changes will be applicable on a Speedy application as well. So whenever the client will execute the instruction, they have to provide the necessary additional detail like UCC TMID exchange ID, and the securities will get blocked in the client account, and the block mechanism applicable for such kind of an instruction as well.
Okay, so in that case, as a CM, I don't have to transfer shares again to CC, which I'm currently doing.
No, ma'am, it is not required.
Okay, so it is mandatory for client to register their UCC ID, TMCM and exchange ID to their respective demat accounts?
No, madam, mapping is not required. Mapping is being done on the basis of the detail provided by the stock exchanges to the NSDL. At the time of account transfer or IDT instruction execution, this additional detail has to be provided.
Okay, sir. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Question from Swaminathan ji. Vinay ji, your question, please. Vinay ji, please unmute yourself. Sailesh ji, okay. Vinay ji, your question.
Hello.
Sir. Hello.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
So my question is auto DCC. If the UCC is required in inter settlement, so how can we put our DCC for exchange?
Sorry, sir, can you please come again?
सर अगर हम जैसे अभी ये यूसीसी अगर कंपलसरी हो जाता है, तो अगर इंटर सेटलमेंट में यूसीसी कंपलसरी हो गया, तो एक्सचेंज में हम जो डीसीसी देते हैं डिलीवरी क्लियरिंग कॉर्पोरेशन में, वो उसमें भी यूसीसी जाएगा?
अभी सर, अभी फिलहाल के लिए हम लोग इंटर सेटलमेंट में यूसीसी मैंडेटरी नहीं कर रहे. We are just waiting for SEBI guidelines related to pool and inter settlement. We are not mandating UCC detail in respect of pool and inter settlement.
Hi Yogesh.
Bharatji, your question, please.
Hi, question is, if client has sold shares at 10 a.m. in the morning and EPI blocking is done at 11 a.m. for EPI benefit, and then if client buys back shares, then what would happen to the blocked quantity at EOD?
No, can you just, take this example in respect of the NSDL transaction?
Yogesh, my holding is, let's say, 10 quantity. I sold 10 in the morning, and after that I
Again, I will ask you, can you just take this example in terms of an NSDL related transaction? Means, for example, you have executed the account transfer instruction at the time of 11 in the morning for sale transaction, right?
Yes.
So we will be blocking that 10 securities in a client account at 11 o'clock, and we will be sending that details to the clearing corporation for getting the early payment benefit.
Okay, so at end of day, there will be no obligations coming from exchange, and you will release a block.
So in that case, the clearing corporation shall check if there is no obligation, then they will not give you the EPI benefit, and in the evening they will reject it. They will have the every right to reject the early payment instruction at their side. If they have not rejected it, we will validate the obligation at our side at the EOD, and we will reject that particular instruction, and we will make those 10 quantity free balance in the client.
Okay, and what would be the end timeline for evening? We can give a block mechanism instruction
till 10:30 EOD time.
10:30.
So for till 10:30, if we give the instruction, the benefit will be given for the same day.
So that has to be checked with the clearing corporations. They have their internal timelines for giving the early payment benefit.
Okay, NSDL will accept it up to 10:30.
Yes, because every instruction we accept till EOD.
Okay.
Shailesh, your question, please. Shailesh, Swaminathan ji, your question, please.
Hello.
Swaminathan ji, yes. Amish ji, your question, please.
So like NSDL, who has this PD facilities for the punching the instructions or uploading the instructions. Likewise, we use stock holding corporations transnet services, where we still see that there are features which has been disseminated in or given in the semi-circular, like UCC, TM segments, and all of them are still not inculcated or are not captured. So is it that the depository as an NSDL level, they are going to instruct or they are going to check that whether this has been implemented or not before the deadlines, so that the hassle for us as in participants, the member participants?
Actually, we don't have any control over the personal portals developed by many entities. So whatever the changes has been required, that has been done in the NSDL system, and the requisite interfaces of the depository participant and brokers like DPM system, speedy system, EDS system, DDPI system, POS system. So whenever this application has been developed by NSDL and that has been used as an interface between brokers, DPI and NSDL, we have made the necessary changes in those systems.
Yeah, so we really understand and appreciate. Having said that, then we have already written an email to them, but how do we resolve this? I mean, does any help or support will be provided from your side?
So you can write to us on a participant interface email ID. We will definitely take up the matter with the respective entity.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Shailesh bhai, your question, please.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes. I'm currently using block mechanism system at NSDL. So some of my transaction got settled in CM pool account directly because there is a issue in UCC linking. So what was the problem in that transaction?
So today, as we already discussed that NSDL is deriving the UCC details from the UCC master provided by the exchanges. So there are some duplicate UCC provided in the master. So based on the unique UCC is not able to identify, So such kind of a transfer is being processed as a non-blocking mechanism. But effective from 12th, 8 minutes, effective from 12th of November, this UCC detail will be provided by you as a part of an instruction. So whatever UCC you will be providing, that will be validated in the UCC master, and hopefully that UCC is available in the NSDL depository system. So your every block mechanism instruction will get processed to block mechanism. There will be no much failure in respect of a unmatched UCC error.
Okay, on 12 we have to pass UCC detail also. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Now, what was the process? Hello.
Yogesh.
Yogesh,
you said there are 3 releases. First 11 November, 18th November, 24 November. So 11th November there is only block with early pain or only block?
No. So we will be releasing both functions. One is for early block with EPA and block with no EPA.
Okay. And 18th November?
18th November is related to DDPI, wherein tender offer and mutual fund transactions are being allowed using DDPI transaction.
And 24th November is?
Pain validation.
Pain validation.
So 24th November, we will be, not giving any broker the option to execute the no block, no EPA instruction as well. We will close that option.
Okay. So actual pain I can do till 23rd November.
No. So again, I will say that both pain related changes will be done effective from 12th of November.
Okay. So last one I did not get it. 24th November.
So 24th November का जो release है वो भी हम लोग सर 11 को ही कर रहे हैं.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Sajesh ji, your question, please. Sajesh ji.
Yeah. Hi, Yogesh. Sajesh here. Okay, I just wanted to have a clarity on this CUSA pain. Okay, can you please let me know in detail CUSA pain?
You can continue with your existing practice, CUSA to CM pool, and from there you can execute your pain related transfers.
Okay, so existing whatever we.
Yeah, if there is an unpaid dues and the broker is making the sale of those securities, then they can route it through the CUSA to CM pool and they can submit the share for paying purpose. If the dues is paid by the broker client, then securities has to be given back from CUSA to CM client account, and from there, if there is any sale obligation, the instruction has to be processed through block mechanism.
Question from Narzo 50 on the screen. Your question, please. On the screen, 111812. Your question, please.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Samir Purecha.
Samir, your voice is getting echoed.
Just 1 second. Yeah, 1 second.
Bharatji, your question, please.
Yeah, you can.
Bharatji. Yeah, 111812. Please try.
Yeah. So my question is, we have brokers and not a DP. Do I need to first upload any file sharing the client codes and the various demat accounts my client has with NSDL or with the CC?
No, that is not required. As I said, whenever you will execute a transaction in the depository system, that time you need to upload the file as per the revised file format. But that's it. And we are expecting.
No. Where do I upload the file? We are not uploading any file.
So how the instruction you are executing in the DPM system?
So we are doing it through stock holding Transnet system.
So you can continue with your existing practice.
So we need to mention the client code in that also.
So that you can check with that particular entity, sir. How they are going to manage it.
Okay, so that when we upload the transaction on their system, you all will check with the instruction. You all will check with the file which the stock exchange has given you.
UCC details are not being provided in the NSDL system along with the instruction. We will not process that instructions.
No, I understood. So when we upload that instruction through the Transnet, you all will match it with the file which you get from the exchange. Only if the client code is matching, you all will pass the instruction.
Transnet is not directly connected with NSDL. So what I am telling you, the instruction will be uploaded by the broker or DP in the NSDL depository system. At that time, we will do the necessary validation.
But that is only if we put the client code, then only, na? So we have to put the client code at our end, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now my second question is, you're mentioning you're going to do exchange-wise validation. So when we upload that file, we have to mention also which exchange the shares have been sold on.
So from the first slide of my presentation, I am saying that there are 3 additional fields which we are expecting: client UCC, TM-ID and exchange ID. So these all 3 fields are required so that we will be able to validate the UCC and we will be able to validate the instruction with the obligation.
Okay. And my last question is, once a client has sold the shares and he's delivered a physical DIS to his DP, do I get, once the DP is marked that for early pay-in, do I get the early pay-in benefit immediately or only at the end of the day when you'll validate it?
No, sir. You will get the early pay-in benefit online.
Even though you have not got any confirmation from the exchange, you will yet give me the early pay-in benefit?
Clearing Corporation will give you the early paying benefit on the basis of the block created in the demat account and the UCC detail and early paying detail shared with the Clearing Corporation.
Okay, so at our end, we don't have to do any early paying process at all.
The instruction process through block mechanism, early paying mechanism, you are not required to give any additional detail to the Clearing Corporation.
Okay, so this all is starting on the 12th, right?
Yes.
Sureshji, your question, please. Sureshji.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
हाँ सर, मैं जानना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे आज सेटलमेंट नंबर 209 एनएससी का प्रोसेस है और जो क्लाइंट जिनका डीमैट अकाउंट बाहर है स्टेट बैंक में, बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में, वो आज या कल इंस्ट्रक्शन सिर्फ मैन्युअली देते हैं बैंक में हमारे पूल अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर करने के लिए, तो वो सिस्टम में कोई चेंज होगा कि पुराना ही वैसे ही चलता रहेगा कि पूल अकाउंट से ऑटो पेइन में शेयर छूट जाएगा पेइन का?
सर 12th of November से कोई भी पेइन का इंस्ट्रक्शन विदाउट ब्लॉक मैकेनिज्म नहीं जाएगा. Every instruction will be processed through block mechanism mandatorily.
तो जो भी बैंक में क्लाइंट के अकाउंट्स है जैसे बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा, स्टेट बैंक, कोटक बैंक,
कोई भी सर कोई भी डिपॉजिटरी का क्लाइंट हो एनएसडीएल का, उसका डिमैट अकाउंट किसी भी डीपी के पास हो, अगर उसको पे इन करना है तो उसको ब्लॉक मैकेनिज्म से ही जाना पड़ेगा.
तो एनएसडीएल ने उन क्लाइंट लोगों को डायरेक्टली इस तरह कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शन भेजा है, क्योंकि एनएसडीएल के भी क्लाइंट है ना कि आप इस तरीके से पे इन बंद हो रहा है, हम आपको ये इस तरीके से.
हम लोग डिपॉजिटरी पार्टिसिपेंट को सर्कुलर भेज चुके हैं सारे. अच्छा. और अभी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का जो सर्कुलर होता है वो भी हमारा जाएगा, तो सारे सर्कुलर सारे डीपीज को भेज चुके हैं.
तो 12 तारीख के बाद में अभी जिस जो नॉर्मल तरीके से पेन होगा वो पूरी तरह से बंद हो जाएगा, वो ब्लॉक सिस्टम से ही होगा, ऐसा ही आप कहना चाह रहे हैं ना?
यस सर.
हाँ जी, थैंक यू सर.
Narzo 50, screen name, your question please. Please unmute yourself. Sajish ji, your question please. Sajish George.
Mine is over, sir.
Yes, you're over. Fine. Dharmendra ji, your question please. Dharmendra ji. Narzo 50, your question. Please unmute yourself. Amish ji, your question please.
Yeah, so I just need somebody's single point of contact for raising queries or concern in case we find some sort of things requirement, or maybe to address our query at the in order to get.
So you can send email on NSDL helpdesk email ID helpdesk@nsdl.co.in.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
helpdesk@nsdl.co.in. Co.in. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Integrated on screen, your question, please. Integrated, please unmute yourself. Dharmendra ji, your question. Please unmute yourself. Dharmendra ji, your question. हाँ जी, बोलिए.
सर आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी.
हाँ सर, ये ब्रोकर का सर मैं आई एम अ ब्रोकर सर, ये ब्रोकर का प्रोप अकाउंट का शेयर सर अनब्लॉक ये ब्लॉक मैकेनिज्म में नहीं जा रहा है.
सर ये क्वेश्चन हम लोग ने पहले भी आंसर किया था कि प्रॉप अकाउंट में जो आप ट्रेडिंग के लिए जो यूसीसी यूज कर रहे हो वही यूसीसी आपको यहाँ पे इंस्ट्रक्शन में डाल के देना पड़ेगा. फॉर एग्जांपल टीएम आईडी जो होता है वो एज अ यूसीसी आप लिख के दे सकते हो और हमको ऑब्लिगेशन में भी वही सारा डिटेल आएगा. यूसीसी टीएम आईडी एक्सचेंज आईडी.
नहीं, मैं स्पीडी थ्रू अगर इंस्ट्रक्शन देता हूँ तो सर वो मींस पूल अकाउंट में वो शेयर ट्रांसफर हो जाता है.
सर मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको 12 नवंबर से मैंडेटरी ब्लॉक हो जाएगा. उसके बाद में सीएम में शेयर नहीं जाएंगे. एक तो वो क्लाइंट अकाउंट में ब्लॉक होंगे सक्सेसफुली या फिर वो रिजेक्ट हो जाएंगे.
सर क्लाइंट अकाउंट का ब्लॉक हो रहा है, ओन अकाउंट का प्रोप अकाउंट का शेयर ब्लॉक नहीं हो रहा है.
तो प्रॉप अकाउंट का जो शेयर ब्लॉक नहीं हो रहा है वो आप एनएसडीएल के हेल्पडेस्क को सर सेपरेट मेल भेजिए. हम लोग उनको आपको गाइड कर देंगे क्या इशू है और उसको कैसे रिजॉल्व करना है.
अच्छा, ओके.
Integrated, your question, please. Unmute yourself. Bharat bhai, your question.
Yeah. One question is, you said the file format circular is 23rd July 2022. So can I get a list of consolidated circulars which are applicable for all these block scenarios? Yogesh?
Okay, sir. We will send it separately.
Fine. Thanks, sir.
Linesh, your question. Linesh, your question, please. Yeah, Yogesh, I think we have covered most of and a lot of questions and a lot of clarity. On a concluding note, I would request you a message from Yogesh and team NSDL that what members should be doing because this thing is coming very strong, like a wrap-up thing basically from your side.
So thank you, Whiskey, once again. And to all the participant members and brokers, I will request you to please get yourself ready for this block mechanism and pain related changes, because effective from 12th of November, every pain related instruction will be executed mandatorily through block mechanism. If you are not able to execute the necessary transactions along with the changes, then there will be very big issue in respect of meeting the pay-in obligation. So whatever the efforts we are taking as an entity along with participant, brokers, clients, so please make yourself ready in respect of implementation of these guidelines, so which will be very easier for us to implement these necessary changes and to move towards the successful implementation of this block mechanism and pay-in validation guidelines issued by SEBI. And in the long run, SEBI is basically intending to safeguard the interest of the investor by bringing new validations or guidelines for securing the interest of investor by eliminating any risk of misuse of the client securities. So definitely this is a very right way forward for the implementation of a risk-free mitigation plan towards the meeting the pay-in obligation. So I urge all the participants and brokers to please be ready with the changes so that we can smoothly move forward for the implementation of a block mechanism and pay-in validation changes. Thank you very much. And once again, as a from NSDL end, we will like to thanks BBF for giving us this opportunity, and it is always nice to have such kind of a webinars with the BBF officials. We will try to have such kind of a webinars in future also, which will give the more clarity to the business partners and depository partners along with the brokers. Thank you very much, Whiskey.
Thank you, Yogesh. Yogesh, just one last question has come in, if you don't mind, please. From Nishanji, would you like to quickly ask your question, Nishanji?
Yes, sir. Just I'm
Yes.
just I just need to reconfirm. See, actually, this particular which Yogesh ji has said, like this UCC implementation and all other changes, just I'm reconfirming. This is not required by custodian, correct? Not required to be done by custodian, correct?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so.
Thank you once again, Yogesh. Thank you once again, Parag ji, Yogesh ji, Prashant Vagal ji, for giving us your valuable time. It has been always been very useful for members to know this nitty-gritty, and your highlighting and the lucid way in which you have been answering and interacting with our members is very kind of you. Members, the YouTube link and the PPT would be loaded shortly on our website. If you have any further questions, you can always reach out to BBF Help Desk, which is at supportdesk@brokersforumofindia.com. With regards to your queries, we can connect you to accordingly to team NSDL. On that note, once again, Yogesh and team, thank you very much for providing your valuable time for today's webinar, and members joining for today. And have a lovely weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Whiskey. Thank you.